everybody, welcome back to Palembang, Indonesia. It's round 11 of 18 in 2019. This is the MXGP of Indonesia, and after a one-week break, we are back here in Asia, some 11,000 kilometers from Central Europe. Now, there's only ever been one Premier Class Grand Prix held here up until we started coming back here in 2017. That was won by Yves de Maria on a JHK Kawasaki when he stepped in for the injury-hit team of Tortelli and Fred Bollet. When we came back, though, 20 years later, it was Sean Simpson who mastered the mud of Pangkal Pinang to take his fourth career victory for Wilbo Yamaha. Jeffrey Hurlings defied the odds last year with a broken collarbone. His teammate Kai Rowley was second, but neither of those two will be lining up this weekend due to further injuries on what has been a tough couple of weeks for the Red Bull KTM squad. 31 degrees. There's the some of the 17,000 islands that make up Indonesia in red. Who will it be that walks away, though, victorious this weekend? A quick overview there of the circuit. Weather absolutely torturing the riders this weekend. And they are going to definitely feel the heat as a result of that. There's the circuit, if you're joining us for the first time, just over 1,500 meters long. Right at the start of the day, though, we did have the opening ceremony. Riders time to take a little bit of shade, just as best they can here. All the traditional dancers doing their bit as they welcome dignitaries and
everybody put all the effort to
everybody here this weekend.
And I really want to thank Sadikin from the IMI and also Mr. Governor for all this fantastic welcome.
Dignitaries from the FIM, from Ustream, the local governor.
That we all, as David said, we all feel like at home. Thank you very much. I hope you enjoy the races today.
Drums were banged, claps were heard, and everybody went about their business as they prepared then for MX2 Race 1. But up next, though, is MXGP Race 1. And everybody getting ready. Anyway, let's take a quick look at the season review so far. We're now just into the second half of the season. With the MXGP season now in its second phase, here is a little recap as to how the season has played out so far, starting with Argentina. After failing to finish the qualifying race due to a rare technical issue, Tony Kai Rowley wasted no time in making amends. Two great starts from the outside gate were instrumental in helping him go 1-1. For the first red plate of the season, he was joined on the podium by Geiser and Van Horbig. After playing second fiddle to Kai Rowley in Argentina, Geiser brought his A-game to Great Britain. Well, almost. Despite this huge crash in race 1 whilst leading, the Slovenian still managed to go 3-1 for second overall, but the warning signs were already there. The backdrop of Trentino was made for theatre, and once again there was no shortage of drama in Kai Rowley's backyard on this occasion. The fourth round saw Geiser snatch a narrow victory over his Italian rival in the first outing, and race 2 was just as epic, with the two going bar to bar for almost the entire race. With both riders on the absolute limit, it was Kai Rowley who cracked first, handing an emotional win to Geiser in front of his adoring fans. All of a sudden, it was game on at the top of the championship. But all that changed at Mantova round 5 as Geiser struggled in the mud. He saw a 16-point deficit grow to a massive 40 points as Kai Rowley became the mudmaster with his fourth win of the season. In Portugal, Geiser clawed back 6 vital points, but in France it was Kai Rowley who was on the ropes. Frustrated at hitting the gate in race 2, the Italian's race was littered with mistakes, and it was Geiser who sealed the GP with another 1-1 to close the gap to 10 points. And after Russia, the Slovenian led by 13 as Kai Rowley's season began to crumble. Latvia saw the return of Jeffrey Hurlings, but the bullet crashed on the sighting lap before race 1 and was hit on his injured foot by Eiminus Jasikonis, who could not avoid last year's champion, but he still went on to win the race. Then, in a bizarre twist of fate, Kai Rowley crashed from race 2, walked off with a dislocated shoulder, leaving Geisser to pick up another 50 points. Roman Febvre and Arno Tonis joined Geisser on the podium at the end of a challenging GP. In Germany last time out, Geisser turned 2 hole shots into another 2 wins and was simply sensational at the Talkessel, whilst behind him, Arno Tonis and Gauthier Paulin took to the podium for the first time as teammates, the Swiss rider in particular enjoying a run of 5 consecutive podiums. His teammate Paulin has another 4, leaving team boss Louis Vosters in a state of euphoria. And as we prepare for race 1 in Indonesia, Geisser holds an 83-point advantage over Kai Rowley, who will miss the 2 Asian adventures, and Yamaha 3 riders fighting over 3rd, separated by a point. So there, a quick recap, bringing us up to speed. Before we go ahead with this race, though, Max Anstey and Tim Geisser caught up with Lisa Leyland.
Now, we've just had the first MX2 race, and you can see how the tough conditions here have caught out the best of riders, so we can definitely expect some unpredictable results today. I'd like to speak to our points leader, Tim Geisser, mainly just looking at the championship, really. I mean, you've been unbeatable the past 5 GPs. Your closest rival, Tony Kai Rowley, is not here these next 2 GPs. How has that changed your frame of mind, your perspective? Are you a little bit less, you know, feeling the pressure a little less, or does it feel like a huge weight's been lifted?
Yeah, definitely feel a little bit less pressure, but anyway, I will give my best. I will try to have a good start, because start is really important on this track. Found some smooth lines because the race is going to be really long, 35 minutes. Yeah, I will give my best, and then we will see.
Just tell us as well, how much do factors like heat, jet lag, the humidity, the unpredictable weather, because the rain is forecast as well, how much does that affect the race out there? How much does that play into the hands?
Yeah, definitely affects a lot, especially the weather, and the humidity is really high. You know, when you race 35 minutes, it's going to be tough, but I think it's really important to really ride smooth and to not lose your energy too much, so to keep it for the end. So definitely starts, like I said, will help to be in front immediately, so I will try to make the best out of it, and then ride smooth and relax.
Have a great race. Thank you. The next rider I'd like to catch up with, standing contract KTM rider Max Anstey. Max, mainly just to talk about qualifying. I mean, we had you on the studio show. We were talking a lot about your season. Great result yesterday, one of the best qualifying results. I think you were 2nd. You needed some luck, and it was great to see you up at the sharp end again.
Yeah, no, it was awesome. I feel really good on the track, and you know, I like the heat, so that's nice. Yeah, it's a cool place here and cool track, and I just want to go out and hopefully get a good start and have a good race. You know, it's everyone's going fast here, and it's technical, so I think everything's coming together. You know, I was really pleased with yesterday and pleased with this morning in warm-up. So I think just go out there and focus on my job, and that's it.
You say you like the heat, but surely you need your sunblock in this weather. I mean, you of all people need your sunblock.
Oh yeah, well, yeah, I've got my sunblock on. Yeah, I think I said it before, but I've been watching a lot of Love Island. I'm laying it on factor 50 thick, you know. But yeah.
Max, you lay it on thick, okay?
I will, don't worry.
Have a good race. Max Anstey there is always smiling. It's good to see that. Best of luck for all the guys. It's going to be a tough one. It's MXGP race 1.
Crosser Indonesia ada 162, ada Farhan Hendro, dan
as always, quick sighting lap just to get the guys in the frame of mind as if they weren't already. Coming into this 11th round. Let's take a look at the championship standing, shall we? Ahead of round 11 of 18 here at Palembang, Indonesia, the MXGP of Indonesia. Tim Geisser on 441, no Tony Kai Rowley, but he's 83 points behind. That will all change today, of course. Jeremy Seawer then is 152 off the lead, but look at that. Tonis and Paulin, the 2 teammates, are tied on points, just 1 behind Seawer as they fight over 3rd this weekend. the riders of the championship. Jonas down there, look, but Jacikonis 6, Van Horbik 7, Koldenhoff 8, Jonas and de Sal rounding out the top 10. Bevra on the fringes. Right, if you're only joining us for the first time today, didn't see any of the action from qualifying, here is what happened in the MXGP qualifying race here at Palembang. The gate dropped on what was a tricky circuit because of rain about an hour before their race. It was still drying out after the MX2 qualifying race. Gauthier Paulin here holding a nice tight line through that first corner, but watch here, caught the rear wheel of Jeremy Seward, number 41. Paul Jonas went down, wasn't sure if it was just a slick patch that he caught yesterday, but he went down hard as well. Anyway, Seward was in 6th position as he went into the turn at the end of pit lane, but he was blitzed there by the 189 briefly of Brian Bogus, whilst his teammate led. Just ahead in white was Jeremy Van Horbik. Koldenhoff was in 2nd by the end of the lap, finding his way past the number 4 of Arno Tonis. His teammate, number 99, Max Anstey, was right there as well. Mistake there from the 4. Fevra was on a charge, made his way past Bogus. That got him up into 5th place. But Geiser was in control at the head of the field, looking like he was enjoying himself as well. The team did their best to give all the information, but then 2 Yamahas went down. Seward got cross-rutted, went straight on, and Paulin couldn't avoid him. And the 2 touched wheels, and they were down in the dirt. Fevra started to close in on a number 4 of Tonis, and eventually found his way into 4th place just after the halfway mark. Neat pass around the outside. Anstey was circulating in 3rd for much of the race, but eventually he did find his way past his teammate Koldenhoff to get himself into 2nd. Great qualifying for both the standing construct boys. Best for Anstey, and another 3rd place finish for Glenn Koldenhoff, but it was Tim Geiser for the 5th time who was victorious in MXGP qualifying, this time in Indonesia. Right, here's where we are, top right of your screen, everything on the left done and dusted in the books Grand Championship. Indonesia, Palembang, a week's time we go to Asia, MXGP of Asia, in Samarang. We go home for a week off, and then it's Czech Republic, Lockett, Belgium, Italy, Sweden, finishing out with Turkey and China, and then of course end of September, the Monster Energy FIA Motocross the Nations at Assen.
Ada di bawah saya. Halo Lewis.
As the riders make their way to the grid then, here's how they go to the grid. Tim Geiser on pole for the 5th time. Anstey with his best qualifying of the year ahead of his teammate Glenn Koldenhoff, who equals the season's best with 3rd. Roma Fevra, Arno Tonis, Jeremy Seward and Gauthier Paulin. The Blue Boys all there, line astern, over the next few positions. And even Monticelli, the 3rd of the standing construct guys, lines up in 8th. Arminus Jacikonis and Brian Bogus. Bogus with his best qualifying in 10th of the season. Jeremy Van Horbik actually faded from a good start to 11th, but the Honda SR Motor Blues rider will try to make amends today. Tano Leok goes to the line 12th, head of Jonas, then Lewis Stewart, Andera Lusbo, Adam Coles, and the rest as you saw on screen. 20 riders making the grid today on what is going to be a hot and humid weekend and a hot and humid day's racing here. Brand new circuit, 1,520 metres long. Palembang's about 100 metres stretched down into the first corner. The Fox hole shot is almost down into turn 2 between the 2 rollers. So who will it be that grabs that all-important Fox hole shot a little later on? We'll have to wait and see, won't we? There's Arno Tonis, the Monster Energy Wilvo Yamaha rider, lining up in his position on the grid. We're going to get a green flag at the back any moment now. There's the 41 of Paul Jonas. Rockstar Energy Husqvarna will, hoping for a better start, he'll be hoping to make it at least past turn 2 without going down. Right, green flag at the back. Fly Racing 15-second board up then for the first time this weekend on the points-paying races. MXGP Race 1, round 11 of the FIM Motocross World Championship. The MXGP of Indonesia. The board has turned to 5. Geiser left of the box, a good getaway from him. Koldenoff alongside him. But you can see riders getting squeezed going into the inside there. But it's going to be Geiser around the outside, but there's no foxhole shot line until around about now. Oh, was it Jeremy Seawer or was it Geiser? Well, Geiser gets his nose in front just as they head down past pit lane. And it's Geiser who leads here. Seawer is in second, Anstey in third. Then Fevre here in fourth, Koldenoff alongside him in fifth on the second of the KTMs. And then Tonus just behind them, the number 4. Then Bogus. So most of the people getting the start that they wanted, whereas Paulin, there he is behind the Honda of Bogus, just in that back corner. As they make the way through the second of 2 consecutive wave sections here. Anstey pushes Fevre wide. Fevre tried to close the door on the KTM rider, but had to run it wide. There's Bogus, there's Jonas, so the Latvian keeping it upright on this first lap. Boy, he had to stretch it there, didn't he? Jeremy Seawer, he knew he was coming in short. Front end high, big panic rev. Koldenoff is up into third. So where's Anstey? Just behind him in fourth. Good opening lap this from the 259 of Koldenoff. There's his teammate, there's Fevre, 461. Bit early for that shot yet, but we'll pick him up shortly. And it will still be Tim Geiser, then Seawer, Koldenoff, Anstey, Fevre. Then Tonus 6, Paulin is in 7th place. Bogus 8, Jonas 9, Van Horbeke is in 10th. As the riders go down past pit lane. Important to capitalise on a good start here. Not going to be the easiest place to overtake, but the track crew decided to leave the ruts in from yesterday's racing, so there'll be a technical element if it rains a little later on. And when it rains here, even a shower gives you a couple of months worth of rain if you're based in Europe, you know what I mean. So when it falls, it definitely falls, and there will be a lot of water laying on the track if we get that situation. The jump faces that are already hard and slick will be difficult for the riders to navigate. They might even be forced to try different lines. They'll certainly be taken off straight as well, as Fevre looks to come around the outside of number 99, Anstey. Nice line across the ruts there, just looking for something different. Is that rain already falling in the background, just beyond the hotel? 27 minutes plus 2 to go. Anything can happen in this first MXGP race. There's Jonas, 41. Tano Leok just behind him. There's his teammate, Andero Lusbo, normally rides in the 2-stroke championship at home. Obviously coming here this weekend to try his hand at MXGP. All those clouds are looking ominous over there, aren't they? Something in the way of a mouth-watering prospect then lying await for the next 27 minutes plus 2. Geiser sets the fastest lap of the race, a 1:34 as he opens up a 1.2-second advantage. As Anstey thought about diving down the inside of the 259, his standing construct KTM teammate, as they fight over 3rd place. See where the Monster Energy Yamaha rider up in second, his teammate Fevre just behind Anstey, and the Monster Energy Wilbo Yamaha rider Arno Tonus giving chase as well in 6th ahead of his teammate Paulin. Bogus for Team HRC. The Rockstar Energy Husqvarna of Jonas is next in 9th, and Van Horbeke on the Honda SR Motor Blues is in 10th place. Anstey looking, I won't say desperate, but looking to find a way through as quickly as possible on Koldenoff here, who is now really starting to come into his own and finding his feet after a very, very difficult winter period. So Anstey and Koldenoff locked together. Fevre just coming into land in the background, but his teammate here not letting Geiser off the hook. And again, this one, you've got to play this one out. In the first MX2 race, for instance, the qualifying, I'm not going to give anything away, don't worry. In time practice yesterday, the fastest time was around about 1:27, 1:28, and qualifying is around 1:37. But on a drier track today, they started the race, and the lap times were similar, probably around about 1:32, almost to 1:33. By the end of the race, they dropped 7 seconds because of the heat, because of the humidity, just backing off, maybe leaving something in the tank for tomorrow. Be interesting to see how it plays out in MXGP as well as a result of that. Geiser's opening lap there at 1:33.493. Is that going to be the fastest lap of the race, yes or no? Seawind not letting him off the hook though. 1.6 the gap. Geiser's time yesterday in qualifying at 1:34.87. So they've already gone quicker than they were in qualifying yesterday, but we'll keep an eye on how the rest of this race plays out. Will these guys be backing it right off in the final stages of the race? Geiser comes into land, Team HRC, corners like he's on rails. He buries that Honda into that deep inside rut up on the pegs, briefly sits down. That's the grandstanding areas of this racetrack. It is getting dark and gloomy outside. Oh, a mistake there from Koldenhoff. Just losing his balance on the exit of the turn. Saw that a few times yesterday from more than one rider. If we can get through this first race without any rain, that'll be nice. And if we can get through the weekend without any, but it definitely looks like it's threatening. 32.7, fastest lap of the race now for Geiser. 1.7 clear of Siwa. Again, Koldenhoff, Anstey locked together, third and fourth. A little bit of a gap back to Fevre, who's just lost his momentum ever so slightly, falling back into the clutches of Arno Tonus. Tonus in 6th place, Paul Bogus, Jonas and Van Horbik still no change for them inside the top 10. Monticelli is 11, Tano Leok is 12 for A1M Husqvarna. His teammate Luzbo behind him, Arminas Jasicone is 14. Lewis Stewart, the Australian wildcarding here this weekend, is up to 15th, ahead of Bruno Darius Verpainen now from Spain, who's been pushed down the order. Adam Cole's another Aussie import for this MXGP race. He'll be happy that he's 17. Jordi Van Nobelen, Aldi Lazzaroni and Ferran Hendra. That's how it looks here with 23 minutes plus 2 to go. 32 metres, this tabletop here coming into land, into this right-hander. Biggest jump on the racetrack. The other's probably 16, 18 metres long, something like that, so a bit smaller than usual. Jeremy Siwa in 2nd position. Just the one podium this year so far for the Swiss rider, but he holds 3rd in the championship chase. Geiser, his pace slows ever so slightly at 1:33.1, but guess what? Glenn Koldenhoff goes fastest at 1:32.7 on lap 4, fastest lap of the race for the Dutch rider, as he looks to try and break free from his teammate. It's about a second between him and his teammate Anstey, who sets his fastest lap of the race at 32.2, latching onto the rear wheel of his partner in crime there over at Standing. Geiser looking solid, set at the pre-grid start of the race. Yes, whilst Cairoli is not here, there's nothing he can do about it, but it has taken a little bit of pressure off the championship leader, because between him and Siwa there's about 152 points. It's Koldenhoff and his teammate there, standing contract KTM's Max Anstey, number 99. Telltale signs. One nervous look. Did he make a mistake in the corner there and just think, wow, how close is Anstey? There's Siwa just ahead of him on the Monster Energy Yamaha. His teammate Fevre just there, look, on the 461 in 5th place. This red clay dirt, when it's been ripped, becomes very claggy, very sticky. If it rains later, these rutted parts of the racetrack here will be full of water, and it's that horrible sticky stuff as well. It'll be a mechanic's nightmare as they look to get these bikes stripped, washed, packed back in the flight cases, shipped across to Samarang. However, if it doesn't rain, then no need for too much to worry about. Give them a quick dusting off and get them stripped, get them packed. Enjoy the rest of your night, guys. There's Fevre coming into the land, just ahead of one of the back markers. Then the guy in the blue and grey, Arno Tonis. What a fantastic season he's having. Arrives here with a run of 5 consecutive podiums. You may have seen that in our recap. Just at the start of the race. There's Anstey. And a mistake there from Koldenhoff. He runs wide and almost gets tagged there by Anstey as he went on through. So came into land, ran it too wide, Glenn Koldenhoff, and all of a sudden that simple mistake was enough for Anstey to capitalise. He moves himself up now into 3rd place. So chinks in armour are starting to be tested here. 19 minutes to go. Watch this. Just made a mistake. Couldn't find his line. Anstey came in. Front end got a little bit high on him. Tried to close the door. Tagged the front end of Koldenhoff on the way through. Anstey now up into 3rd. So what can he do with a clean track ahead of him? Not having to eat the roost off the rear wheel of his teammate now. Well, Geiser is 2.7 seconds clear of Siwa. Anstey set a personal best, about a 100th of a tenth slower than Siwa that time around, of 33.237. And he's got about 3 seconds to make up. So the Montrose Yamaha rider here, number 91, Jeremy Siwa of Switzerland. See the gap here between the Yamaha and the KTM. Look how shiny those ruts are now, right in the base. Oh, that'll be a nightmare if we get a little bit of precipitation. We've lost, oh no we haven't, Fevre just there, Tonis in the background in 6th position. If you want to read about him, of course, go to MXGP.com. We have our online magazine. A mistake there from Geiser as he came into land. And a nice in-depth interview with Arno Tonis, if you fancy a read. It's free, by the way. Definitely looking moody over there, isn't it, on the horizon. Geiser 2.9 seconds clear. He was 3 tenths quicker than Siwa that time around. Anstey, meanwhile, 32.9, 33.8. He is chipping away at the guy ahead of him. There'll be plenty of people urging Max Anstey just to at least finish inside the top 3. Had a bit of an up and down season, one thing or another, with a bit of illness and some little knocks here and there. Had a good outing in Germany, got his best Grand Prix finish of the season, 6th overall. That leaves him in 13th place in the championship, Max Anstey, and that 7.5 were his best combined results. You know, 4th places a couple of times in terms of race finishes. But if he can finish 3rd or 2nd, he's got Siwa right on his radar, just in that far corner. Meanwhile, as one KTM looks to pass a Yamaha, we've got a Yamaha that will pass a KTM, and they are all featuring from 2 of the same team. So the 2 Monster Energy Yamahas, 2 standing contract KTMs. In fact, the 2 KTMs sandwiched between the 2 factory Yamahas here. 16 minutes plus 2 to go. Romain Fevre, 461, looking to get a 2nd wind here as he goes after the 259 of Glenn Koldenhoff. Geiser all of a sudden stretches his lead to 5.2 over Siwa. Anstey right there, ready to pounce as he goes after 2nd place then. So as Siwa hit the wall, metaphorically speaking, is he starting to fade in the heat? A 33.3 compared to a 35.6 is either a mistake or the tongue is starting to get wound out. Because Anstey was a 33.9, Koldenhoff 33.5, Fevre 33.6. Tonus, the 34-2, happy to sit there in 6th position, ahead of his teammate, Paulin, who is there in 7th place. We're going to see a shake of podiums this weekend. There's Tonus, number 4. Short little jump, that one, about 17, 18 metres. Coming to land over this 32-metre Monster Energy tabletop. And Anstey all over the back of Siwa now. Is it only a matter of time before the Brit goes past the Swiss rider? Anstey looking to go to the inside, but he'll get closed down immediately. Oh, nicely done there from Siwa. I think Anstey thought he was going to go inside. Had to keep himself to the outside there, did Anstey, as he had to correct going into the final corner. Now, Siwa back on track, a 33.9. Maybe it was just a small mistake then on the previous lap. Either way, it's allowed Anstey just to get back on terms. Monticelli now, mind you, is back up to 10th. He's found his way past Brian Bogas. Oh, that's a little bit cross-rutted there from Siwa. Looks like he's regathered himself. There's the number 91. Awkward corner to get right, that right-hander. If you mess up, you don't get the beginning of the wave section right. There's guys from the opposite turn, occupying a nice 5.5 second advantage over these two here, the 91 and the 99. Back markers on the horizon. This guy needs to stop drinking there, doesn't he? Bouncing there, that's going to be costly from Siwa. Meanwhile, Fevra closing up on Koldenhoff. Then bobbles on the exit of the turn. Ah, he's just shaking his head. His head's gone. Roman Fevra just looking as if to say, you know what, this is the most frustrating race. Can't find a way past. He just pulled up, shook his head as he hit that tabletop. Just he's thrown in the towel with 13 minutes plus 2 to go. Whereas these guys are continuing to push on. Well, that's going to be a lifeline for the 259 of Glenn Koldenhoff. He won't care, but RF 461 has decided to say no, let the conditions get the better of it, whichever way, shape or form. Whether it's because he can't find a way through and has just given up, or whether he's just hit a wall. Anstey and Siwa. Here's Fevra. So he just got hung up on the rut there. Stalled the bike. Keeps it going. But losing ground there. So Geiser. Anstey now second. Siwa third. Koldenhoff fourth. Here's Koldenhoff. He is in 4th place, giving chase. Little mistake there from Fevra as he came in again. Just a little bobble. So 11 minutes to go. Geiser stretching his lead out. Just a bit here and there. It's now 6.5 seconds over Max Anstey. Anstey at 33.7, 1/10 quicker than the race leader. Siwa is third, Koldenhoff 4th, Fevra 5th, Tonus is in 6th place, chasing this guy. Back end just gets a little bit. Tonus time. Well, the guy can throw a few shapes on the dance floor, I'm told, so maybe he's going to be having his own little party a little bit later on if he can move a little bit further up the field. See, we're dealing with the back markers. Bit of a correction there, clutch in, back brake, bring the front end down. Lewis Stewart, Australian. Pretty much spends a lot of his time over here, actually rides the Indonesian Championship, the Australian, so would never have been here though, although he was at Semarang last year. Caught between a couple of riders here though, he'll know he's experienced enough just to stay out of the way. Seeing the leaders come through, he'll be mindful, but just drops in between Fevre and Koldenhoff. All of a sudden, Fevre decided to shake himself out of that depression and go back after Glenn Koldenhoff. He probably felt that Tonus was just getting a little bit too close for comfort. Can't have a satellite rider passing you when you're on a full factory machine. Here's Koldenhoff doing a great job on that standing construct KTM, but for how much longer can he keep the frustrated Fevre back at bay? Sometimes, you know, when you do just hang back, frustrated or not, and then find the time to claw back, get back onto the rear wheel of the guy ahead of you, in this case, Glenn Koldenhoff, who was sitting right there ahead of Fevre. Sometimes you just have that extra momentum just to make something happen. Fevre will be hoping for that this time, because if he does get parked under the rear wheel of Koldenhoff for a second time, Tonus will be all over the back of the Frenchman. And maybe he won't take so long to make a pass. Guys are getting ready to hit the line for lap 13 any moment now as these guys come into the final couple of corners. 1:33.3 for your championship and race leader. Of course, he'll extend his lead by another 3 points at least over his main rivals. Cairoli not here, so it'll be 5 points more over Jeremy Seewer if he stays there in third place. And Darrow Lusbo, A1M Husqvarna, just trying to stay over to the right, out of the way as Koldenhoff and Fevre. Fevre has caught the Dutchman once again. Now he needs to go for broke. Now he needs to just launch an attack and just find something, make it happen, whichever way. He needs to find his way past the 259, who's sitting there in fourth place at the moment, Koldenhoff. Fevre gets better drive coming out of the wave section. Goes to the outside, gives himself a better option through that final two.
Slovenia.
7 minutes plus 2. Even the mechanics are beating up down there. Koldenhoff went short there on a tabletop, surprisingly. A mistake there from Tonus. Just missing his line on the way in. Right, this is better from Fevre, but he's not going to find a way through in this next left-hander. He'll go wide here in the final corner, or wider. Up on the pegs, settles himself, grabs his seat. Needs to get close enough at the end of the start straight here to maybe, he's not going to be able to do it from there, but try and turn a little bit tighter. Koldenhoff already fairly tight as they head into lap 15. Geiser is halfway to Semarang by now, 7 seconds clear of Max Anstey. Anstey in second position. Exactly what the Brit wanted coming into this weekend. A change of fortunes. His teammate sitting there in fourth. So second, third, fourth, fifth. A battle between the two standing construct KTMs and the two Monster Energy Yamahas. Is that a drop of rain I see on the lens? Or two? Well, this will be interesting. If it, yeah, the raindrops are falling. And they are going to come thick and fast now. So what we thought about at the end of the race is now starting to happen. The rain is starting to fall hard. Riders have gone to the line with the laminate tear-offs. And hopefully they've used them sparingly as well, because they're going to need a pocket load of them before this race is done. The shiny landings and takeoffs and turns are going to be very, very brutal. Going to be slippery. Are we going to see mistakes in the latter stages of the race? 5 minutes plus 2 to go. This race is about to get blown wide open. If that rain falls heavy and for a prolonged period, Koldenhoff shaking off the concerns at the moment as he looks to break free from Febvre. Lap time's 34.8. See if they slow this time around. There's Arno Tonus, number 4, in 6th place, couple seconds down on Febvre. Tonus just looking solid. Just managing expectations here in this first race. If the rain does fall, it will be very, very slick indeed. Febvre up on the pegs, takes the inside route through. Again, Koldenhoff goes short, Febvre goes long. You can't make the inside there if you jump long though. Is it going to be a tortuous 3.5 minutes of uncertainty for the riders in MXGP race 1 here? Is it going to rain, yes or no? If it does, how much, how hard will it fall? How slick then will the racetrack become? They've got used to riding a dry racetrack so far in the first 27 minutes or so. They won't want to see their hard work come undone as a result of a changing weather conditions. There's Gauthier Paulin. First time we've seen the Monster Energy Wilvo Yamaha rider so far this race. He's there in 7th, about 11 seconds down on his teammate, Arno Tonus. We said it was wrong place, wrong time yesterday in the qualifying race. So they didn't know how or why Siwa missed his line, but kind of came across him inadvertently and touched his rear wheel and went down. Siwa was already on his way down as well, so both Yamaha riders get caught in a just a little racing incident, nothing too major. He's looking all right here, though. Febvre getting a little bit loose, gets alongside the 259 and goes around the outside. That was the moment he was waiting for. Romain Febvre, he'd noticed and recognised that Koldenhoff was jumping short on that tabletop, and all of a sudden, he flies by. That was the break he needed. All of a sudden then, Febvre up into 4th place with 2 minutes to go. Minute and a half plus 2 to go here in MXGP race 1. The MXGP of Indonesia at Palembang, and there's a telltale sign as well. Glenn Koldenhoff, maybe a spent force in this one, just wanting to keep an eye on what's going on behind him. He'll be okay, he'll make it to the end of the race, but watch this here. There's Siwa. Look, on the left, Koldenhoff jumps short, Febvre goes long. He had to get this right here. He did that, executed the turn perfectly. He was able to lean on Koldenhoff on the way out, and that was the move for 4th place. Already breaking free from the 259 Koldenhoff. How far back to Tonus? About 3 seconds. In fact, not anymore. So he may lose another position here in the latter stages of this race. Glenn Koldenhoff. I'll tell you what is going to be difficult, those waves there. If it does glaze up because the rain comes down, you're hitting those waves straight, but then the last 5 or 6, they are starting to go around this sweeping right-hand turn, a shallow right-hander, and the ground is all very hard there, so they'll have to take that easy, almost roll a couple, get themselves straight before hitting the last couple again. Tonus just biding his time. Here he is, number 4. 3 laps to go, because Geis are already over the line about 20 seconds ago. Tonus got that steely look in his eye, wants another position here. We're definitely hoping in terms of the overall podium stakes at the end of race 2. Coldenhoff doesn't want to give up that position too easily, though. Geis leads, 7 seconds clear of Max Anstey. Seawer is third, about 4 seconds further back. Similar distance behind him, we have Romain Fevre, and then these two, Glenn Coldenhoff and Arno Tonus, fighting over 5th and 6th place. Real game of cat and mouse going on between these two. Tries to hold a tight line. Coldenhoff, but Tonus will be breathing down his neck, and this time he goes long and Tonus goes short, but he was already doing that anyway. Was the number 4. Geis enters the penultimate lap. Team HRC's golden boy. He was already on championship winning form before the injuries to Cairoli and a few other guys, but when you compare to his championship winning season of 2016, for instance, race wins, he'd taken a couple more at the same stage of the championship. Overall win rate looked good. But he can't afford to switch off because, just because his main rivals aren't here. Maintaining his focus. And with every time he takes a race win or scores more points than his rivals, it will strengthen his grip on his championship as well. That is a very slick circuit. Working his way through traffic. He's lapped his teammate Brian Boger's there in 12th place. Here's Anstey. Rain's starting to fall a little bit more now, as you can see. It's just a case of how much it's falling. Not so much at the moment. Just in different parts of the racetrack. Bit of a lucky escape there as he came in to land on that final jump there. Tim Geis just inside the peg. Threw up a little bit of dirt. Here's Anstey. Fantastic ride for him in 2nd position. And great to see as well, Max Anstey picking up that good start. Been a while since we've seen him in the top 3. In fact, 3rd place finish race 1 at Assen last year. 3rd race finish in Montebiano earlier on in the year. So this will be a long overdue. In fact, he hasn't finished 2nd since the final race of 2017 at Pays de Montbéliard at Villars-sur-Écot, when he was 4th and 2nd that day. Here's Seawer. Well, you don't want to be scrubbing on those jumps with the faces slicking up. Little pockets of rain around this racetrack, but 2 or 3 corners to go for Geis. Here he is into the final corner. Team HRC's Tim Geis is going to hit the line here. And it's going to be a comfortable win for Geiser, who now wins race win number 13 for 2019. And it was a convincing display as well. 6 seconds further back, Max Anstey hangs on for second. Third, Jeremy Seewer. Fourth, Roman Fevre. Fifth will be Glenn Koldenoff. And then we should have Arno Tonis, Gauthier Paulin, Pauls Jonas and Ivo Monticelli with Arminis Jessiconis rounding out the top 10. Of course, we'll give you official confirmation shortly. But good job for Tim Geiser. And also Max Anstey, long overdue inside the top 3. First time it's happened since the last GP of 2017, where he's finished second. I'm sure Mr. Matthijs will be at home more than happy as Koldenoff takes on some liquid refreshment. A little bit of assistance there. It's hot and it's humid. Anyway, here's Lisa Leyland getting ready to speak to Tim Geiser, Team HRC. How was it, Tim?
Tim Geiser, another race win for you. I spoke to you at the start. You said it was important to get a good start. You did that, and you wanted to have fun. Was that fun?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, like, I had a great start and then make a gap and then control the race. Towards the end, it started raining and then the track became so slippery, so I have to be really careful. But anyway, I'm really happy to win that first moto, and second one I'm really looking for.
Good luck for the second race.
Barely looks out of breath. Barely broken a sweat, but believe me, it would have been tougher than it looks, or tougher than Tim made it look, I would say. But Geiser up front extends his championship lead as well, with victory here in race 1. What will we get in race 2 though? Because there is a threat of rain in the air. Will we have a wet race or a dry race? And will it be he that stands on the top step of the podium in either scenario? Official confirmation then coming up for MXGP race 1 here at Palembang, Indonesia, the MXGP of Indonesia. And it was Tim Geiser who was victorious in race 1 for Team HRC. Max Anstey standing construct KTM second, Jeremy Seewer, Monster Energy Yamaha third, Roman Fevre his teammate fourth, Koldenoff fifth, Tonis, the Monster Energy Volvo Yamaha ahead of his teammate was sixth and seventh. Pauls Jonas, the Rockstar Energy Husqvarna. Monticelli was next in ninth, and Jessiconis 10th. Van Horbik, Honda SR Motor Blues. Brian Bogers, Tano Leo and Andero Lesbo of A1M Husqvarna. Lewis Stewart, Adam Coles, Jordi van Nobelen, Ferran Hendra, Aldi Lazzaroni and Bruno Darius Vapainen. Geiser now obviously pulls clear of Cairoli, is not here, but he gains 5 more on Jeremy Seewer as we head into race 2. So that's going to be a 157-point gap now. Tonis and Paulin still warring over third, but Seewer has just given himself a little bit of breathing space now. Jessiconis, Koldenoff and Van Horbik running out the top 8. Jonas 9 to Sal 10. Anyway, take a look at MXGP race 1 in a highlighted version, shall we? The sun was out at the start of the race. Geiser ran a little bit wide on the exit, and at the inside was Jeremy Seewer, but who was it that grabbed the foxhole shot? It might have been the Yamaha rider. We'll bring that to you in just a few moments. But by the time it came out of turn 2 and ran it down to turn 3, Geiser was up front, past the Swiss rider. Anstey was in third, Koldenoff fourth. Fevre and Jonas were right there as well in the thick of it. And Tonis actually looking good early on, but so too was Koldenoff. He found his way past his teammate and went after the 91 of Seewer. Anstey was not in the mood for hanging around either. Latched onto his teammate Koldenoff, and then he became the lead standing construct KTM rider with that move into third. He then found his way past Seewer at some point to move into second. Fevre had 1 or 2 little issues. He was frustrated at not being able to find his way forward, and then after that one stall, he eventually found a way past Koldenoff. Koldenoff was jumping short. Fevre went around the outside. He still had to execute perfectly here, which he did. And that was 4th place for Roman Fevre in the dying stages of the race. Tonis started to close in, though, on Koldenoff, but he had to be content with 6th by the time he hit the checkered flag. Tonis came home in 6th, Koldenoff 5th, Fevre 4th, Seewer 3rd, Anstey 2nd. But Tim Geiser was victorious in race 1 here at Palembang, Indonesia. Might have got lucky with the weather for now. But there's still plenty of time for things to change. Take a look at the foxhole shot, shall we? Wow, too close to call. Was it Geiser or was it Siwa? Let's have a look. It was Geiser. Geiser then with his fourth black plate, his fourth foxhole shot of the year. And he turns it into a win as well here in race 1. Ooh, blue skies on the horizon. That's looking better than it was about 10 minutes ago. Right, let's take a look at some of the best moments, shall we, before we disappear for a short break. Some of the highlights then, some of the best moments from MXGP Race 1. We will take a break now for just over an hour. When we return, we will get the conclusion of this Indonesian Grand Prix, the MXGP of Indonesia. We will return in an hour with MX2 Race 2. We'll see you then. Bye for now.